Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of In Your Wheelhouse, brought to you by Wheelhouse IT. As always, I am your host, Todd Rosales. And don't forget, if it's not your wheelhouse, don't reinvent it. This series has been an absolute pleasure for me to do because I get to speak to some awesome members of the community. I get to talk to business leaders. But as you guys saw with our interview with our first nonprofit, Handy, I get to talk to some amazing organizations that are doing real good in the community. So much so, I'm starting to think that the people from these organizations should be running our education system for the entire country because the programs that they put together are better than the formal education system that I went through. And I've been here in the public school system in Florida. Nothing against that system, but when you have people who truly care, they excel at what they do. So, with that being said, I typically will give all sorts of background and everything else, but I want to make sure that I do them justice. So, please welcome Josie Bacallao and Magaly Alvarado from Hispanic Unity of Florida. Thank you guys both so much for joining us.
Thank you, Todd. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Todd. It's amazing to be here with you.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm glad that you guys were able to join me via Microsoft Teams. I hope that one day I get to come check out the offices, see what you guys are doing firsthand, because it's really exciting me. So, we have worked together between Wheelhouse and Hispanic Unity of Florida for a while now. I know that we've helped support you well before I came to Wheelhouse, but it's something that we're very happy to do. People look at us as a business, but when we get opportunities to work with organizations like yours, it really means something to us because we know that we're helping somebody who's truly helping the community. And every time that we get to do that, it really makes us feel good about what we do for a living because we specialize in something you don't, and we're able to bring that knowledge to you. With that being said, I've talked very highly of the organization for now. Let's get into the background of what you guys do. I know that you were founded in '82, and I can talk about your mission, but I know it's not going to sound nearly as well coming from me as it's going to come from either of you. So I'll let you guys do that.
Thank you, Todd, and thank you for Magaly to join me today as well. It's a pleasure to be here with Wheelhouse for this effort. Hispanic Unity was founded 38 years ago, and we like to think of ourselves as the Ellis Island of South Florida. We work with new Americans from 30 different countries, and some of that work is done in 2 to 3 to 4 different languages. As a matter of fact, you'll hear from Magaly, who is one of my heroines, who is actually trilingual, and she works all the time with clients in those 3 languages. We have 12 programs, 30 services, and if you think of the trajectory of a newcomer to our country, we're doing everything from helping them learn English to finding jobs, creating their own businesses. As a matter of fact, I just jumped off of our Entrepreneur Summit, which is our 9th, where we have a phenomenal lineup all throughout August of small business owners and entrepreneurs on a myriad of different workshops. So we work with our clients to help them start those businesses and strengthen them. And then we work with their children. We work to strengthen families to ensure that they have the education about all of our systems, from the education system to the financial system, to the economy, to buying a home. How does that work? And then on the tail end comes Magaly, helping them really live their ultimate American dream, which is to become a U.S. citizen. So we really walk hand in hand with our clients from the very beginning to helping them become integrated into the U.S.
That's absolutely amazing. But I'll let you. I'm stepping on your toes here.
No. I just wanted to mention a couple more things to do that work. Magaly and I have the support of over 200 staffers and more than 200 volunteers. So the work is way larger than the two of us can even begin to put our arms around today.
So I watched the video on your website, and it follows a few people that, coming from Venezuela, coming from Haiti, coming from other locations. I remember there was a photojournalist from Cuba that was, he worked as a photojournalist, and he took a picture of Castro falling. in any other country, that probably wouldn't be a bad thing, right? The
Mm-hmm.
leader falling,
Mm-hmm.
and he was approached by two people and said, "We think it's best you get out of Cuba." You know, the people that you're helping, they're coming here from situations that are bad because they're with. We don't need to get in the politics of it, but for example, the government can kind of do whatever they want, right? There's no social accountability. And they're coming here, and at least once they get here, it's like, okay, at least that pressure's gone. But I don't know anything. I don't know anyone. I don't know the system here. I may not even know the language. How do I get it? You know, we take this for granted. I told you before we started recording, I moved down to Florida from New Jersey when I was 8, and I had parents taking care of me. And even that transition coming from New Jersey with my accent where I say dog and water and car, you know, they come down here, and I felt out of place as a, I don't know how old I was, I think 8 years old, 9 years old. I can only imagine that feeling coming from a completely different country with a completely different culture and a different ways of life, different, you know, different everything, and then landing here, and you guys are almost like the best friend that you meet in school that one day that sees you at the lunch table. You know, I know you mentioned that you're the Ellis Island, but I look at you, you're the nice kid who sits with you at lunch and says, "Hey man, you're kind of cool. Like, I know, like, come with me. I'll show you around. I'll show you the school. I'll show you the cool table to sit at and all that." I think it's incredible what you're doing, and I'm sure you guys love doing it every day. Talk to us a little bit more, you know, how you guys have progressed over time. You talk about your entrepreneurship summit. I see different galas, different events, mini golf tournaments. I know all these are fun, but they're there to support the overall mission. How have you progressed in your roles over time, coming from 83, 82, 83 all the way to 2020 now?
Well, we've had an exponential growth actually over the last 38 years, but particularly in the last 5 years. And there's been a lot of evolution, because one of the things that is really critical to us is listening to our clients and really understanding their needs. And I do want, one of the prime examples of that was Magaly. We actually had an initial volunteer begin a very small citizenship program. Right. And I want Magaly to tell you what she's done with that during the last 15 years. So Maga, your turn.
Well, actually, I was listening to you saying that Hispanic Unity is like a model agency in the United States, and I believe it is. Some of our programs are very well organized, and the fact that the example of citizenship and the citizenship services that we provide here is now taking and looking at the whole United States as one of the best citizenship programs. So many years ago, 15 years ago, probably Josie and I, we were having a discussion about how to create a consistent program to support legal permanent residents and to transform their mind and to become good citizens. So the concept is totally different when you learn by obligation, that you have to learn the 100 civics, but doesn't have any sense about understanding the history and why you live in the country that you live now. So our mission is to have these people being conscious about the country that is welcoming them, and also the way that they can exercise the right to vote. And so with that, it has been non-stop journey where more than 10,000 people have been assisting our classes, and thousands of people have passed through Hispanic Unity looking for information about how to be a citizen, and of course migrate into the topic about family petitions. And so we're growing little by little, right? And then I will believe that the reason why the community is next to us is because of the quality of the service and the approach of working with them from the beginning of the process until the end and beyond that.
So one of the things Magaly had to do with COVID, and one of the things where Wheelhouse was incredibly helpful to us, was really helping us move all of our team to telework and to working from home. So we had to shift within a 1 week period nearly 60 individuals. And one of the things that Magaly has done superbly is we had 21 citizenship centers between Miami-Dade and Broward County, supporting nearly 5,000 new U.S. citizens a year. And she walks them through, what does the process look like? actually assist in helping them apply for naturalization, which is like a 2-hour process, to then teaching them about American history, about civics. She brings in speakers, brings in elected officials. As a matter of fact, we have an ask now of Senator Rubio to see if he wants to join us in the next couple of weeks to come and talk to our future Americans. And then we also then help them with the interview. What does that look like, and prepare it. And in between, we provide additional English classes to really help them strengthen their English skills as well. So it's a very long, arduous process, but these people are so motivated. So COVID hits overnight. We have to move 21 centers that has more than a dozen volunteers. We're working out of libraries, and Magaly within weeks began. We didn't know about Zoom, like most of everybody in the audience, until mid-March. So we went to Zoom. Magaly and her staff just learned how to do that. Wheelhouse was there whenever we needed them as well. We brought the green screens and we started learning. And so Magaly now is running 5 citizenship classes every week, and we're getting people from around the U.S. participating. Even some of them outside the U.S. are participating. So it has transformed the way we work. And now Magaly, with Wheelhouse's help, we're going to start our own podcasts for future citizens. So it has, there has been a silver lining to this very dark period for us and for many people. But this has really shown us the way on how we can actually even grow our mission beyond where we are now. And when Magaly said we're one of the best in the country at this, she was not exaggerating. We're only one of 24 organizations that the United States Citizenship and Immigration Service funds a year. And just last month, Magaly and her team were featured as one of the best grantees in the country. So kudos to her and her team, who've done an amazing job with this. So that's one of the ways we've changed.
Yeah.
That's absolutely incredible, the things that you guys are doing, and you're not letting a global pandemic slow you down. I mean, the theme that I see recurring through this conversation and through my research on you is that you guys, and I'm going to give credit to the entire leadership team there, you make the best of bad situations and you turn them into good things, right? You take people that are coming here and they don't have much, and you I don't want to say pour fuel on them because that sounds terrible, but you really, spark them up and make them the best possible citizen of this country that they can be with education. And now that we have a global pandemic, we're all stuck at home and we have to be socially distant. A lot of people could have easily just kind of thrown their hands up and said, well, what do? We can't do our programs. We can't do our citizenship classes. We had to shut down all these centers. And you're like, no. We're going to take this and we're going to take it and make it a good thing. Not only are we going to help the local community, we're going to help the whole country and we're going to help the whole world. And now that you guys are doing this virtually, yes, we all miss the being in person and seeing each other and the hugs and everything else. But you guys are taking this as an advantage to address the world, and you're going to grow. So I'm so excited to be here to watch you guys do it and sit and hopefully help out, because what we do here at Wheelhouse, this is the stuff that really warms our heart, because we can enable a company like you to expand beyond your physical geography and reach the country and the world. And I'm very happy to be a part of that. I don't know how deep you guys want to go into some of the programs that you're doing. I've browsed your LinkedIn and I see you're doing a ton of virtual events, which is, I mean, listen, I have a little advantage because I work for Wheelhouse and we're having this conversation, but I would think that you guys would have zero problems with technology browsing your LinkedIn and seeing all the digital content that you're doing. It's incredible. And I can't wait to talk to you a little bit more about that podcast too. So talk to me about, some of the online stuff that you're doing, some of the programs that you have, and really what's going on.
Sure. And I do want to clarify one thing, which is our approach when you talked about our clients. Know that our clients are a joy to work with and an inspiration, because they come with so much. We think We think they come with nothing, which is, of course, materially, most don't, but they come with such determination and such an incredible vision for themselves and their children to really succeed and make this their home, that for us, it's easy because we've got the native matter is already in there, the motivation, the desire, the incredible willingness to sacrifice and to work long hours. So it's actually easy in that sense because they help themselves so much to such a high degree. So we have an amazing team. So like Magaly, we have her equivalent, Ingrid Eggblad and Ana Maria Ceballos, who I want to give a shout out to, who we were the leading organization providing online, no-cost tax preparation. So that's been funded by the Children's Services Council, who actually brought it to South Florida. They came to us years ago and they said, we need your help. We have now been working with more than 36 partners, the library system, a number of not-for-profits, including organizations like the Urban League, to provide no-cost tax preparation to 6,000 people every year. So our economic impact is more than $6 million in tax refunds that we facilitate, plus nearly another $1 million in savings from tax fees that people would normally have to pay. And we do this again in multiple languages. We even work with one organization that is visually impaired. So we work with clients who are visually impaired. And overnight, again, we had over 100 trained volunteers, all certified by the IRS, and 17 partners where we were working at. And overnight, COVID hits, we're out of there. Ingrid and Ana Maria worked really hard researching what are our options. And they came up with two brilliant ideas, both technology driven, of course. One of them is that we became one of 9 partners for Code for America. If you don't know about them, look them up. They are a truly inspirational not-for-profit. They're volunteers who want to make government work. And so they said, we want to help people prepare their taxes. We're going to do that virtually using technology. So we signed up as one of their 9 partners. It's a pilot program. It's never been done before. And we learned how to do it. They held our hand. We made several frantic calls to Wheelhouse about the technology. So it's a totally encrypted system. People can even through their phone submit to an encrypted system all of their tax information. That system then contacts our volunteers who then connect with the individual and virtually in real time prepare their taxes for free using the encrypted IRS website. It's phenomenal. That is one example of what we did. Simultaneously to that, we had a special tax hotline. We called Wheelhouse and we said, we need to do this. And they said, we'll connect you to Ring Central, which has been an amazing company, which I think Wheelhouse also uses. They set us up with a number, 12 hotline numbers, and they taught us how to program it, and we've answered thousands of tax-related phone calls. Now we're using that technology we're actually moving our whole organization to now a technology-based or voice over internet protocol, or VoIP, phone system as a result of our experience with Ring Central, which has been spectacular. So we've now helped hundreds of individuals prepare their taxes for free in a virtual platform. So that's another heavy lift in terms of technology. We don't see that ever going away now. We see that as being part of our portfolio. So even after we begin in next year providing some limited, very safe in-person tax preparation services, we will continue to do this. I do want to mention one of the things too that Magaly has done, and maybe she can talk about it. What has the pandemic has shown is not only, of course, it's a health crisis, it's an economic crisis, it's a racial justice crisis, but it's also peeled back some of the real opportunities we have as a country and for us as an organization of places where we can make a difference. And one of them has been the digital divide. That has been very, very evident to us as we work with clients. We've always known that about a third of Americans do not have broadband. I want to repeat that. A third of Americans have no broadband. And while it is very acute in like rural areas, even in urban areas, it doesn't exist. So many of our families use and depend the smartphone. But when you're trying to apply for naturalization, when you're trying to access Zoom or a class, when you're trying to teach your children or connect your children to classes, when you're trying to submit an online reemployment application or to find work, it's almost impossible. So Magaly and her team, besides starting the Zoom program, Maga, why don't you tell them what you were doing on the back end to help families access Zoom?
Absolutely. That's you see that access to technology, it's a whole experience. And so could be successful, but also frustrating, not knowing how to get in through. And so you feel that you are left behind and you don't want to be left behind. So our team, and by the way, Josie, something that crossed my mind when you were speaking, the success of the transformation of the way that we serve our clients is because of the team that we have and the different generations that we have. So we have the new generation more, I would say, more with more wisdom to access to technology than us that probably we're a little bit scared about doing something and touching and like an enter something that you're like, oh my God, I do this and I made a mistake. So by having people willing to work with the community, that is how you can feel that somebody's walking with you through the process. So Zoom was a mystery for us. And imagine somebody that the only device they have is a cell phone. Yet, we were asking our community at the time that we left the agency what kind of access to technology they had. So some of them tablets, some of them cell phones, and most of them smart cell phones and desktops. So we said, in home, probably they have in the service of one computer for 5 people. So you will say the minors are the ones accessing the computers, but not the adults. And we're facing adults here, more than 41 years old plus, older. So imagine somebody 75 years old getting into the Zoom. You have to understand that in order to encourage these people to enroll and to work with you, you have to be doing the same with them. So behind the scene, we have people working with our clients, waiting for them. We were spending long hours per day opening Zoom meetings for the clients. Like when we were little kids, we were playing this, we call it the stop in Colombia, where we were like, oh, 1, 2, 3 for me, right? I'm here. So then clients are getting access into, I'm here. So we knew they were capable to access to the Zoom room. So that's something that encouraged them to come back to us. So if you leave them behind, you lost the community and they don't trust you anymore. It was hard time, Josie. It was long hours, a lot of time, and still every single time that we have new people coming in, we have to continue being patient, loving them, telling them it's okay, it's fine, we're gonna work with you. Same thing that Wheelhouse does with us, because sometimes when I have an issue, I go like, I'm gonna get crazy. I go, calm down, welcome to the world. We have to be patient, and that's how you can, you can progress in a positive way with them.
So that's a great analogy, Magaly, because we've become what Wheelhouse is to us. So one of the huge benefits of working with Wheelhouse is, 10 hours a day during the week. You've got a live person answering the phone. You've got them 24 hours, but live, immediate response. we've become the help desk for technology for our own clients, and that's a great analogy. I hadn't thought about that, Maga. And so we're not only helping them with a particular program, we're actually creating a whole nother skill set for them that will carry them into so many of the things I mentioned. Employment applications. Now they feel a greater level of comfort. Telemedicine. So it has had some positive impact on our community beyond the obvious.
And
You're,
I would
you're
say
helping them.
something, and I would say something additional, Josie. You see, the program the day after the crisis with the pandemic, the day after we start to think about we need to continue moving on because we cannot think that the near future of being in person is going to come soon. So at that time, March, right? Months ago, I'm counting the days, more than 150 days without being in person with Josie, right? And so we're just looking at each other with the Zoom, right? Or with this technology now, right? The team. And so what I'm saying is that this is a very special momentum for us to push our agency and to bring other services that we provide, and then based on the example that I leave, so then the other program and the other one as well. So everything compiles into becoming a more efficient organization. And in terms of technology, I think today I feel more and better than before. Totally.
I think so many organizations can learn from what you guys are doing, because one of the scariest thing in the world for a lot of people is change. And the people that you're helping, your clients, have gone through tons of change. They went through a change in order to come here. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to use the date March 12th. I think it was March 13th when they declared it a pandemic,
It
a
was.
global pandemic. The world changed again. So you have people who are here, they're starting to get comfortable, they're dealing with your programs, and then all that changes again. And you guys have the wherewithal to say, okay, the world has changed, we need to change, and we need to help our people change with us. So not only are you helping them adjust to this country and the nuances that come along with it, but you're also helping them transition into a digital world. I can only, Magaly, listen, if you weren't already doing Saints work where you are, we would probably try to steal you for Wheelhouse based on what you're doing. But I would feel very guilty taking you away from that organization,
I
because
am looking
the
at
work you're
Josie.
doing there
It's
is
like, no,
incredible.
no, no.
She's
So
our Pied Piper, Magaly. She's got quite the following.
I want to read something off your website just to kind of go and show the level of appreciation that you guys have for the people that you work with, and the level of appreciation they have for you. And I want to read this because I told you before we started recording, I read it and I kind of teared up a little bit because it was so touching. And I've never read a website and had that reaction. But this is under your bio, Josie, on the website. I wear a bracelet that says, "I love you, Josie." It was made by Lucas's own hands. He asked his big sister, Fiorella, to help. He came into my life shortly after I joined Hispanic Unity for Florida, but now he's outgrown the Ninja Turtle stamp that he loves so much. He's now a strapping young boy with the same loving hug and bottle green eyes and dark eyelashes. That's starting to happen again. Then there's the Empanada family. They sing to me when they call. I am included in all their milestones, big and small. What a difference 4 years have made. Genesis's birth was a miracle. She fit in a shoebox. Today she is knockout gorgeous child, and their exceptional mom is happily remarried. Andres is a loving, joyful child. Andres is loving, joyful child. Leo, whose dreams is to be a musician, has a child of his own. One family is originally from Uruguay and the other from Chile, and both have captured my heart. It is because of them that I am inspired every day to serve an organization that transforms lives. You can tell I have a hard time getting through that without being moved by it. What you guys do is incredible, and I'm sure there's so many more stories that you can share, and so many things that you guys can do. I don't even know where to go from here. I'm so flustered by reading that, but all I can do is thank you guys for doing the work that you do, for the people that you do it for. I think in the time that we are, given the pandemic and everything that's going on in the world, it's very, very important that we highlight organizations such as yourself, because when everything's focused on the negative, there are folks like you that, I don't want to say block out the noise, because I know you're aware of what's going on, but you focus on the people who need help, you give it to them, and you do it passionately. And I can only imagine I would want to say that it's probably extremely easy for you guys to hire, because when someone's super passionate about what they do, you hear it in their voice, you can tell it, you can feel it coming from them. And I'm sure when you're interviewing people, you know right away, bam, they're right for us. So, I want to give you guys the opportunity to promote anything that you have going on. The Entrepreneurship Summit, which to me is incredible, because you're not just teaching people, hey, we're going to help you get a job. Oh, there's this other option. There's this other option where you can create your own thing, where you can chase what you love and make money off of it. And that's, to me, is incredible, because that's something that not everybody is taught when they're kids, about entrepreneurship and running your own business. So talk about the programs you guys have going on, how they can find you, and all the other great stuff that you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you, Todd. Thank you for those kind words. One of the, you mentioned entrepreneurship. So we're not only helping families, and we work with a whole family. We use something called the 2-generation approach, which is really, and we're working with partners all over the country. Very grateful to organizations like the Aspen Institute and the Annie Casey Foundation and Kresge and Citi for really funding that work, and JM Family. The Jim Moran Foundation has been amazing, and I do want to give a shout out to them as well for helping us with that incredible work. We also work with small business owners, and we've partnered with another not-for-profit, which is phenomenal, called SCORE, which is well known throughout the country. They have more than 300 chapters. We were the very first to partner with them to actually provide services for small business owners in Spanish. They already have a very robust English language SCORE workshop model. We were the first ones to create with them the very first SCORE chapter that provided services in Spanish. Why is that important? When you are learning a language, which all of our entrepreneurs and small business owners are working on, things related to finance and health, you need to really understand, right? One is one is about your life, and the other one is about the thing that sustains your life, which is your money. So those things need to happen in the language that you feel most comfortable with. Since these people and most of our clients are still in the transition and at different levels of Spanish dominance, they're most comfortable in Spanish as it relates to matters around money and business. So we created the 5 simple steps that SCORE had. We helped them transcreate all of that in Spanish. And this year we will help more than 1,000 small business owners both either start or grow their business. When the COVID-19 occurred, we very quickly reached out. We had a lot of strategic conversations with SCORE and said, what is it that small business owners need right now? So for them, it was for jointly we agreed it's how to keep your doors open. So at that time, the Small Business Administration was already putting out in the community applications for different types of loans. We immediately tapped experts and began a whole series of workshops on how to apply for those loans. Now we're having and working on workshops on how to get forgiveness for the loans, because that's the next phase of that. So one of the things I think that, to Magaly's point, not only do many of our team members have a background that they've walked in the shoes of the clients that we've served, we're also work in an environment that is partnership driven, and Maga can talk about some of her partners, but also entrepreneurial. We are very entrepreneurial ourselves in how we approach our work, which is why we were able to, that famous word now, pivot very quickly in what we do. So Maga could share a little bit about some of our incredible partners that we work with that make this work possible.
Absolutely, Josie. The Broward County Public Libraries has been one of the key members and the key partners of Hispanic Unity during the past 10 or 15 years. Just because public libraries not only are for books, but also are becoming more and more for services for the community. And what better just to reach them out where they live. So just the approach of going to these places is where we can deploy our mission into these areas that probably it's impossible to have an office over there, right? So we have this as an advantage, especially with the citizenship program, where more and more locations are demanding because of the nature of the immigration world in this American life. So then we can see how important is this kind of key partners in the community for Hispanic unity. And I would say probably, Josie, the same cities. Cities are very key in the process. They are looking us for us, like understanding that from the social services world, where you have a bunch of initiatives that people can take advantage of, how close they can be to us. So we have a lot of cities that are always looking for us, asking for collaborate, and that's something that we love to do. So just like a little example, because you can speak about churches, you can speak about different kind of community-based organizations, like a sisters organizations that would like to have programs like Hispanic Unity does, take years and years. And I think this citizenship program is one of the biggest example in the inception of the idea of creating a program like this from scratch. You can see the involvement of immigration. You can see the different actors that are part of this. So it's just the way that we create a reputation. We are creating a name in the community, a brand in the community. And that's the reason why the credibility that we have today is very high, and the reason why people is looking for us.
And I do want to follow up with that, Todd, if I may, on
Absolutely.
one of the pieces of work that's been very significant for us since the pandemic, and it has really accelerated it, and technology has played a role in that. We're now convening with a lot of like-minded organizations beyond South Florida, in South Florida, throughout the state, and nationally. And that's our public policy and advocacy work. So one of the things we've been working, Magaly mentioned the cities, we've been working with the cities, the county. Commissioner Nan Rich is leading our work in this community around the census. That we became very involved with that because it's so critical to the health of our community. 1.5 300 programs from the federal government get determined by how many people are counted in your community. And that for us represents for the country 1.5 trillion with a T dollars over a 10-year period. I know that probably doesn't mean a lot since we've just spent a couple trillion here and there during the pandemic, but it is a really significant amount of money. And so we had, as a result of this, we've been working with a lot of partners, and Broward County has been leading this effort. We've been working with the census and dozens of other not-for-profits and individuals in 10 different languages, 10 different cultural and ethnic communities around the country, around the county, to help with a census. We're still at only 63% people, 63% of the people have actually decided to do the census. So COVID hits, we had extensive planning and that we were doing, and a lot of live events. So we had to, again, that word, pivot to an online environment as well. So we've been using a great deal of social media. So if you were at our event today with the Entrepreneur Summit, you saw messaging around the census. And I do want to put in a plug, if you haven't done it, my2020census.gov. It'll take you literally 3 minutes. And if you don't do it, there are census people out in the community right now knocking on doors. So get it in, get it done so somebody doesn't have to knock on your door. The other piece of the census that gets overlooked often is the fact that last census, 10 years ago, Florida picked up 2 seats in the House of Representatives in Congress, and we have the ability, because of our population growth, to pick up 2 more seats. So this could be a really significant feather in our state's hat to have more people advocating for the state and for the needs of our community. So again, technology played a big role for us on that. And we are also using technology. Magaly has been using technology now for months. We have a whole voter engagement program, and Magaly's been leading that to get people to register to vote. She's been using texting platforms to do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like it was COVID was like an epicenter or like an special momentum for us to grow, and I never expected that because probably we were not myself. I'm speaking about my own experience, and I probably was comfortable in the way that I was doing stuff, and then suddenly when everything happens, the big question from the federal government to me was like, "Are you doing something?" I go like, I'm gonna think about it. Think about it. I didn't have time. I have to do it right away. So, Josie, I want to mention something here that I don't want to take apart, and I don't want to mention this as a business partners, but I have to tell and I have to mention the value of our volunteers to make all this happening because it amazes a lot to me. It means a lot to me too when I see volunteers where they used to go in person to the 20 sites. So you need to run a program like that one with the help of people. Otherwise, it's impossible to have the octopus running, right? You need to have people in place. So imagine if you have somebody that fails, you have to have a backup because our community is waiting for us. So you have to think ahead about all these key partners, volunteers, that are making possible our work. So then when we went through the digital life, then we were like, first of all, we were trying ourselves, flavoring the process. And then suddenly after that, I said, it's time to get them in. So we have to teach, we come again back into the same chain. You have to teach them how to access, how to trust. Still, you have to handle, we have to prepare PowerPoint presentations, this and that, because, I mean, you have people waiting for you. So they're expecting from you.
It's I mean the work what you guys are doing is incredible, and it just seems that your organization just inspires people to be good and put great work out there. And again, the reoccurring theme I see here, the entrepreneurship within the walls of the organization, not just at the top. You guys see a challenge, and it's not a hindrance to you. You're like, okay, well, if we get past this barricade, it's going to make us even bigger and better. And every challenge that has been thrown your way over the past 6 months and heck, over the past 30 something years, you guys have faced, and you've come out the other side of it even better and bigger and ready to go. And like I said, we're extremely honored to be a part of it. We're extremely honored to support you guys. Josie, you had made a joke that we weren't going to go an hour on this show and you wanted to do a shorter version. I only had to ask you guys a few questions, and the passion coming out of you, we've been doing this for at least an hour and we can continue going, but I want to be respectful of your time. I love everything that you guys are doing. I think it's incredible. I'm glad that we can be a part of it. I've said it 100 times, but it's because it's true. I read the things on your website and you see how much it moves me. Thank you guys so much for doing what you do. Thank you for being, I don't want to say clients of Wheelhouse. Thank you for being partners with Wheelhouse. Thank you for letting us help you. And, if there's anything that we can leave with people before we go, websites, social media, programs, anything that we can find to help promote, we're going to drop those in the description, folks. So all the links you should see should be beneath us. I'm going to point down. I might be pointing to one of you. I don't know how it's going to arrange us on the screen, but point down here. Let's send them where we need to get them.
Absolutely. So www.hispaniculunity.org for overall information. Sign up for our last and wonderful entrepreneur summit at www.huffesummit.org. And by the way, we also created a bilingual COVID-19 website chock full of practical information on resources locally and in South Florida called huffsafety.org. So those are 3 sites. You'll find Magaly's information there, our calendar, and I do want to leave with this thought, which is to not only thank our team, which is, as you've heard, Magaly is emblematic of that, her energy, her passion. We've got 200 people that sound like her. We also have more than 200 volunteers. Our incredible board of directors and our funders have been nothing short of amazing. Children's Services Council, the Jim Moran Foundation, Citi, JP Morgan Chase, et cetera, et cetera. The generosity and flexibility of our funders have been the thing that has kept us going. So big thank you to all of those that make our work possible. And to all of you, please find your passion, volunteer your time, your expertise. Organizations such as ours can really use your help and be a force for good.
Awesome. Well, I am fired up to do some good in this world. I'm excited that we get to work together. And I'm going to tell you the same thing I told Kirk. When this thing's all over, I'm going to lose a few pounds to fit into my tuxedo. Hopefully we can meet up at the gala that you guys throw and toast to the work that you've done. So thank you guys again. And thank you everybody
Todd.
at home for
thank
watching.
You, Wheelhouse.
Absolutely. Thank you everybody at home for watching. This has been another episode of In Your Wheelhouse, and we'll see you next time.